Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at Advent of Code and the day one solution, which I've implemented in Kotlin. I'm going to try to do as many of these in Kotlin as I can. I'm going to put the link in the description of the code, which is up on GitHub. So if you want to check that out and see a few example solutions, go do that. But we're going to talk about the day one, and we're going to start with my terrible solution and then how I changed and cleaned it up to be a more functional and really cool Kotlin solution. So stick around to the end to see the full solution, which is really nice. All right, so this is the first day one of Advent of Code. And if you're not familiar with it, just go to adventofcode.com. And this is an annual event to where each day in December, there's a new coding exercise and it's holiday themed, so Christmas themed. It's really fun, especially if you're trying a new language or you're trying to do a little bit of problem solving and some fun little solutions. Check it out. You can sign up. This again is the day one exercise. So calorie counting. And what we have to do is count all the calories of the elves that are in their various meals, snacks, and rations. And we need to sum them up to see who is carrying the most. And so this is our question here. This was actually my answer. I've already completed this one. I'm actually going to live stream hopefully a couple more here in just a little bit. This is the input that I got. So you can see there's different groups of meals and rations and snacks that we have to sum up. This one only has one. And so let's jump over to the code real quick. And this is my day one implementation. It's not the greatest. I actually run it like a few times. And so I was able to run this a few times to get the output that I needed. A few things to note, like I implemented it in a class so that I could get this nice input to be able to read in the file, which is that input txt file. Just put it in your resources directory, which is under main and resources. Once you do that, then you can have a function to run it. From there, just run it a few times and you can get the solution. This is available on GitHub, so check it out in the description. And while you're on your way there and you like this video, like and subscribe. And we'll see you in future videos, hopefully around Kotlin and some of this Advent of Code stuff. Once we have this file read in, we have it as a string and we split it. So we have this /in delimited. And if we look at this type explicitly, it's a list of strings. And then the max calories is something we keep track of as we're looping over this list of strings. And then current calories is the thing that we keep track of for each individual set of groups. So max calories is going to be the thing that we actually return. That is the solution. And then current calories is the accumulator as we're going through this loop. So I check for empty string, which is whenever there's a different group, and I just reset the accumulator, which is current calories, and then continue. Otherwise, we convert it to an integer because this is a list of strings. And then I added this bit here for the current calories is less than the calories threshold. And that was actually for the day two part, which we can see if we go to right down here. So we can see, hey, how many calories are these elves carrying? And this is for the top 3 elves. We were able to see that here, and just setting a threshold lets us loop through it multiple times, and then we can run it several times and just kind of get to that solution without having to actually implement the full thing. But stay tuned, the functional one is much nicer. Once we loop over and we check that our accumulator is greater than the max calories, then we just update that. So pretty simple solution for getting to the answer. But let's jump into the functional approach and see how we can clean this up. All right, now we're on our functional solution, and you can see there is significantly less code here. Let's run through it. We're doing the same input parsing, which again, if you have a resources directory, then it just goes there under input.txt. That looks something like this, which I didn't show before. So you have these different blocks that need to be summed together, and there's a bunch of input. So let's go take a look at the code again. What we do is once we have this input, then we're splitting it. So notice that I took the split off from this first part to where we had a list of strings. And instead of that, we have just one single string. What this is doing is loading the entire file into this string. From there, we're splitting on 2 new lines, and that way we get groups. This is one group, this is one group, and this is one group. And once we have that, then we do a map over it, and each of those has a line, and we again split further. So what this is doing is we have each of these groups, like I was saying, and they have a new line in between them. So we want to get each individual number, because these are just strings, we have to convert it to integers. We split them, get each individual number, we filter out because we have this extra space in each one of the groups that we can't convert into a number, so it would actually blow up. That's what I actually ran into here. And then there's this really handy sum of function. This was something that was suggested whenever I was actually doing the solution. So I had like a map, and I had, I think it was 2int, and then sum is what I had. And it actually prompts you to say you can merge all this into a sum of. And so instead of doing a map to convert it to an integer and then summing all of that, you can do this sum of and give it a function to do that for you, which is really nice. From there, we needed to sort it. So we need to sort it so we can get the max number. And then the part 2 solution, we want the top 3. And so we get those top 3 sums. We just have this print line here in the main function. And if we run this, then we can see we get the top 3 sums. If you have a more interesting solution, I've seen a lot of solutions with Elixir and with Rust, and those are both really interesting. This is again like a pretty functional solution in Kotlin, which way better than the first one. If you have other cool solutions, definitely link them in the comments. If this was useful, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.